Yo, welcome back to Lakeland. It's been an epic here night of bare knuckle fights and Frisco. We got one of the best in here. Can you please introduce this? How was that? She looks intimidating. How you doing, my champ? Okay. Tell us. So tell us. I mean, you're probably a Hall of Famer by now. You know, in the sport. You've been in the sport for so long. I probably saw with you your first fight. You know, as a former world champion, I always tell people, I don't know if I have the. Can we get her name for the fans?
Oh yeah, I'm Christine Ferea. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, I've seen you fight plenty of times, and it's like your skill set is really good. Now I see you coaching boxers. Are you gonna fight again?
Yeah, I'm gonna fight probably October, November. I'm just waiting for someone to sign. They don't want to fight.
What?
Nobody wants to fight me right now.
That's because you're tough.
That's what we're here for, to be tough.
That's right. I mean, this is different. I mean, you have some boxing background. What's the difference? Tell me about the difference between this.
There's a lot of differences. The techniques, the defenses. You don't want your hands here. Everything sneaks over. I like to be a little further out to catch, parry. The punches are different. You can't take one to give one. If you get caught with one, it might be over, or you might be blinded. You might be cut a lot faster.
Yeah, and we saw a couple of times a guy got hit over the temple, and it said, I guess your vision just goes.
Yeah,
right?
it goes. That happened in my very first fight. I fought a southpaw, and she got me with a hook, and I couldn't see.
Oh wow!
I could not see. All I saw was like couldn't see out of this one. This was blurry, so I just kind of kept my jab out. And once I got my vision back, then I finished it.
I mean, see, it's happened to me something like that, but not to your intents.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think the worst I've ever gotten. I remember three things came to my mind. Who am I? Where am I? Where's this guy hit me?
Right? And why is there three of them?
I mean, being a fighter and being a coach, I know all fighters usually, we all coach. We all work around the same. But where you define the difference and how you challenge yourself as a trainer and then as a fighter?
It's the same. For me, the fight is a fight. I want them to win the fight. I'm just as involved and as passionate for them as I am for myself. So I just know my approach isn't always everybody else's approach. So I'm really aggressive. I don't like to be nice to you before a fight. Some people are really nice to each other and like, oh, I'm like, nah. You want to come take what I have? This is a war. Even if we were friends before, the second we sign, we're not friends for that time.
You know, and we talked to Victor the Venezuela. He's a cutman. You know, second probably what I'm talking about. He's a Hall of Famer, bare knuckle. Victor, shout out to you, man. You gave us a heck of a interview. He gave us an interview, and he broke down because we asked him about the injuries that sometimes you guys sustain. He says that you know, he's worked on some of the guys where he had to use so much stuff. Some of the girls. It is so critical, but I see that you guys got EMS. Like, it looks like the emergency room. You guys are very tentative fighters. Yeah. So people might think, oh, this sport is brutal. You know, what will you say to the fans and the people that now beginning to watch and might think that this is just too horrible to watch? Because I see that they stop it when it's seen enough. Yeah. We saw a 10-minute wait. This guy got hit behind the head. Yeah. In boxing, you get 5 minutes and don't make a quick decision. I mean, this place was kind of like quiet for 10 minutes until they made a decision, but they really think about it.
Yeah. The promotion, they protect the fighter. They don't want us hurt. I feel like from boxing to bare knuckle, you're not going to take as many hits, so you're not going to get as much damage inside. You might get aesthetic damage. You might get more cuts. It looks worse than it is. Yeah. But I feel like you take less damage in bare knuckle than you do in, say, gloved MMA.
Yeah, for like the difference that I see is that the damage is just superficial, where in boxing is more internal.
Yes. And that's how I feel. I feel when I start. Actually, I do a brain scan every year on my brain to see if I'm declining in cognition and all that. So when I started bare knuckle, I did my test. I do my test every year, but every year I get better. Because I'm not taking as many hits. I'm not taking as many hits to the head. So and I work on my defense because I don't want to get hit with the bare knuckle because I know it could be done.
Well, and here, one punch, it's over.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, the excitement was happening. Enjoyed it, and I also watched it. I'll say it again. Fan base. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be of fighting a boxer or a UFC fan because you get into it because 1 minute you're winning the fight, the other minute you get caught. Now it's vice versa.
Yeah, it can happen just like that. That's why when I'm training or when I'm cornering somebody, I'm telling them, if you hurt them, okay, I want you to jump on them or jump on her, but I want you to don't be reckless with it because that person is fight or flight, and most of the time we're all here to fight. So someone's going to come with a crazy just to survive.
I see a lot of overhands.
Yeah, a lot of MMA guys too.
What's up, champ?
What up? Hey, congrats, man. So I feel there's a lot of MMA fighters with a lot of wider punches than boxers, that will keep a lot of things straight.
The other thing is that we were thrilled about it. Like we think they should do it in boxing. When you have a close fight, like the draw almost said, we're going one more round. And I mean, someone's leaving. Ain't no say, someone's leaving. Oh, win.
Yes.
I mean,
the what is it? What's it called?
The drum.
No, when they go to the other round, sudden death. Yeah, when they do the sudden death, I think that's awesome because then there's a winner. There's no draw.
Yeah, I love that. I like that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Because if I'm in a fight and it's close, then I want that extra round.
Yeah.
Listen, and the other thing is, man, look, I'm pumped up, and I'm like, this is the first one I've been to UFC, and I've been one. I was hoping that, and you guys have one here in Lakeland, and we were here, and I'm glad we came. It's just you can't fall asleep watching this sport. No. You cannot fall asleep. You can watch a boxing fight, and it could be boring, but this is constant work in 2 minutes. But
you have to. You have to go to work. You have 2 minutes. You got 5 2-minute rounds to do work. You have to work all rounds, and I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect for the hands. It's perfect for the damage. I've done 5 rounds 2 times, and it's okay. It's okay on the body. It's okay on the hands. So more than 5, pushing it.
So quick question. So you just brought that up. Looking at it from the aspect, looking at how long is your recovery? I mean, like for me,
depending on the fight, how hard the fight is. Like my last fight, I didn't have any recovery time. I didn't really take any damage. In one of my fights, I think it was about 3 week. Just to feel good again. Depending on the fight.
I mean, I've had, but of course I fought 12 rounds, and I've had probably 8 weeks to.
And of course there's checks. I mean, because we have several times as fighters, we're stubborn. Our mind's telling we could go, but our body's say, "Hey, hold up, I'm not ready yet." Are there checks before when you suffer a major injury to make sure that you're okay to get back in the ring?
What? Say that again.
Do they check to make sure?
Oh yeah,
we could be as stubborn sometimes that we're okay. Our mind says we're okay, but our body has not recovered. Is there a way you guys make sure that the fighter is ready to go back in there?
So we have the doctors after the fight. The doctors will look at the fighter, see where they're at. They'll see if they're concussed. They do tests before the fight and after the fight to test the mind. And depending on the cuts, depending on if there's a concussion, there's a 30, 60, 90, 120 days suspension. So they suspend them for as long as they need to heal.
Do they require AKG for you guys when you come?
AKG? Yeah, depending on the age.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, we have to do medicals every time, vision, physicals, so they're making sure. Everything's the same.
And this is when you mention age, it just came to my mind. Is there an age limit as far as getting in the sport? Because I see retired football players and UFC fighters who've had an illustrious career, 10, 12 years, and come over here.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're healthy and you're still able to fight, then you're welcome. Yeah.
This is awesome.
Maybe I'll do it. No, just kidding.
Hey, thank you so much for here we have again. Give us your name. Give us info. We can follow you.
Christine Misfit Ferea.
Yeah.
My Instagram is @ChristineFerea. My Facebook is the same.
And when is the next event? So
I'm thinking October, November.
Okay.
You look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to see it. And subscribe. Be Boxing Tight. Hit the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Because we got a new sheriff in town. It's Bare Knuckle. And y'all, we're going to bring it to you as it happened. Here with the champ. God bless. It's been a great night here in Lakeland. Look at those muscles.